out the payment voucher from the ministry or the company to bring that money back and offset and put it back into my account. So when you take control of the money coming in, going out, regardless of how little it may be or how huge your money is, when your management is good, you can make up something greater from the little money that you can. You know, with the little money that you get, and then you say to yourself, oh, I won't be able to do that because it's too much. If I have to deduct my saving and deduct towards the function, towards the end of the year, and I will be left with nothing. Well, when you're left with the little that you have, and then you work yourself from there, and you look out, what are the little things that you can do? Even if you're working, can you make some pastas roti, or can you make some hot dogs? I've always shared this. When I was working, I was getting paid well, working in at the hangar, looking good, getting dressed, going to work every day for Air Pacific then, now it's Fiji Airways. But yet, my containers of hot dogs, my roti curry and everything in my car, still getting my orders to the neighboring companies around there at the airport, TFL. I get it delivered, I get my money, I do something in my house, tile my house, paint my house. So, because I know the money that I get on my pay is not enough for me to be doing all these things that I project. So don't be guided or just be strict, thinking that this is the only money you get. No, you look out. Oh no, it's amazing what you can achieve. So, like what I mentioned earlier, if this is what you have done until the end of the year now, and you say to yourself, I should have, could have, don't go there. You just look back, learn from it, and then you say to yourself, I must do it for 2024. Remember the feeling you have now and tell yourself, this is the last time I'm going to feel this way, because by this time next year, I'm going to be good. Because when you remember that feeling, you will do something about it. And also, not only for the end of the year, getting together. Some of your children, some, birthday celebration, some even 1 year old. So some of the birthday celebration, it's a must do. And those birthday celebration as well, you take that into account, write it out. So kaya tuko na nomo account yako kay tiko ikoro ni biti tuko kina na ilabo no mo ilabo ni kani songo no da mga na songo la kumai iko kila ikoro itarama ikya whatever event or any other short call, I put this money aside. So you won't touch any other money, but you'll just work with that money. If you come and this amount is there, well, that's just teach yourself that's just the amount that you're going to use. You're not going to pull from any other, because be mindful. When you pull, you affect all the other areas as well. But if you don't have the ability to open extra accounts, then go the old way, in the old school way. I used to do that before, not now. Just have the envelopes. Have the envelopes and write rent, water and electricity bill, 21st birthday. Do all those envelopes and put it in a safe place. And if you have only one account, like what I said, because if you continue to put the same account and you're looking at that amount of money, you will think that you have access to that money. But if you take it out and put it somewhere, you know this is the only money you're going to work with, and this is the money that's going to be substantial enough to look after your days to come, and also your rainy days, and your good days, and your projected days. Yeah, we're talking much about the budget and planning and savings.
Because when you manage your money, you can manage everything.
Yeah.
If you can manage your finance, your money, then you can manage anything that comes your way. Your time, your talent, and even your achievement. No, most of us, we achieve well, education and in our workplace. But if we cannot manage well, then all this talent and all this achievement will mount up to zero, because we cannot manage well. Randini was sharing that sometimes we look at our just salary, but you can do more things outside your normal salary because of the demand that is in today. Handicraft, sometimes you can open up small canteens or shops. There are things that you can do just because you can manage well. And as he said, we've been talking on budgeting and money management, and we believe as we approach the end, another 2 weeks to go, the end of this year, 2023, we take this time to wish you well. Wish you well for this year, 2023, and also come to 2024. Nothing is impossible. we also talk about our health. We believe to round off this 2023, you can have all the plans that you have. You can have all the achievement and all the resource that you have. But if you don't look after yourself, then who will enjoy what you put aside for the future?
Make sure you
So
have good health to enjoy.
you must have right diet, right way of life. I was reading one documentary the other day, the sunshine, the sunshine and the air that we breathe, and the exercise that we do. These are three things. When we do it, we don't realize that we are extending the hours of our life. Just walk in the sun, for the sun to shine on your head, or just doing a walking or exercise. You know, sometimes there are places that you can walk, or you can do your prayer and walk, or there are places that that you can go up the stairs instead of the lift. Small things that we can contribute, so the functions of our body remain the same, and not depend too much on the provision that we have today. We have the cars, we have the bus, the transportation, and hardly we walk nowadays. But when you go overseas and you see a lot of people, either they're riding the bicycle or they just walk in the park or in the beach. There are a lot of facilities that is made for walking, because they start to realize just by walking. This morning I finished with my prayer, and I was driving home. I saw these three, I don't know whether they are Chinese ladies or Korean ladies. They live around in Lautala Beach Estate. Every morning, whether I'm with my granddaughter feeding the birds, or whether I'm coming back from the seawall, I will see these three. I think they'll be over 70. They'll be nearly 80. Three of them, they will be walking. And I said, no wonder they can still walking there.
No, I see for the Asians, it's you know, their way of life. They don't need to be told or don't need to be reminded. I have Korean lady friends, and because most of the time as I come in, they're doing their stretches, and then you know I'll just laugh it off and I said, okay, do you do that early morning? And then one thing that they shared, then they said, you know, when we are born, growing up, this is part of our life. And everybody, for Koreans, we do this. And I said, really? And I said, yeah. And then she mentioned that for you people, it's like you have to go out of your way. It becomes an activity or go for training. For us, no, it's our life. It's like our eating and our going to have our shower. And I said, oh, okay. That's why, you know, they are always nice, frisky and small. And yeah, it was amazing just to hear that. Because they are always one size and they're always active, regardless, like what he mentioned, even up to the 70s and 80s. And even at times when you're down at Seawall, you see couples, you know, husband and wife, Asians, and they're just doing their work. And to them, it's a way of life. It's like they need to do that. So for us, sometimes we get carried away. I get carried away, and that's one thing that I like about my Apple Watch. What it does, it will prompt me. It will tell me, stand up, stand up. It's the time to stand up. Because if you wear it all the time, it monitors your body, and I believe it does for other Fitbit watch as well. What that watch does, it tells you about your body. If you're walking, it records. Whatever activities you do, it records. And then during the day, it reminds you. And right in the middle of my work that I'm busy or in a meeting, and then it's telling me, stand up. So in my office, if no one sees me, you know, they'll be thinking, okay, what's wrong? Because whenever that happens, I'll have to stand, try and, you know, dust the shelf or do the files or walk around in my office or come out to the staff, you know, and say hello and create conversation. So it's like a reminder that you need to move your body, especially so when you're getting young, old like us. And sometimes, you know, on how you get off the bus, say in Suva, but your office is too far out. So it's easy for you. Get off the bus, you call it to a taxi. Don't call the taxi. Get off the bus and you walk it. Walk it. Because that little walk, oh, it does so much. You know, because other than that, there's no other time to walk. In the morning, you're busy with your children and your grandchildren. In the afternoon, You are busy with the same tribe all the time. So to have something on the side on your own, it has to be within your working time or within the time that you have on your own. So the healthy living, sometimes we say, okay, I need to go to the gym or I need to be doing all these things. No, it's a simple walk will do. Don't overthink it, because when you're planning, it's not going to happen, and sometimes it takes longer to happen. Start with a simple walk. If it takes you just to walk around the house, walk around the house. If you're on the elevated place, maybe 2-3 steps up, walk up and down. Yeah, it may look silly, but it means you're walking up and down. Something is moving, your blood is, circulating somewhere there. So walk up and down. And if it takes for you just to walk out and take out the rubbish bin, might as well. If you have people that used to do it for you, well, choose 2 at least or 3 morning, you're going to do that to yourself. Just to give you an excuse, you're going to walk it and help you. At least for our office, it's not as much. It's only a 1 flight stairs. And sometimes people struggle to come up the steps, but it's the steps, which means it's sort of like, your body is moving. And those are the little things that you can do. And now for the festive season, it's a season to be merry, eat, and be happy. And sometimes that is even not part of the equation. To walk, forget it. You'll take it from one end to another, and you'll sit and hog. So December, it's like a slacker's month for being healthy for most of us. So try and bear that in mind. And still do something little that you can, and make it happen for your life. Because at the end of the day, like what we always say, sometimes we are so busy living, so busy working, so busy making it happen, so busy trying to make things the way it is, with all those finances and working towards your wealth, but you forget about the health. Your wealth is good, but your health is not in a good place. Because when your health is good, then you're definite and confident whatever wealth you have created, you'll be around to enjoy them, and it's going to be enough for you to enjoy it with your family. And sometimes you get so worked up and roped up in working up the wealth, you forget about your health, so you get minus from the equation earlier, and the very thing that you die for, overworked, stressed, not enough rest, that took you out of the equation, is left for who? For somebody else to enjoy it. So this is the time for you to sit, rethink, and reprioritize, and recreate your new lifestyle plan. Yeah.
Most of the time when we walk, sometimes we don't realize that the distance that we are adding up, we are accumulating. So that's why it's always good in the office, and you stand up and walk here and walk there. Don't allow the busy schedules to make you sit down for a long time. From time to time, Raijeli is saying there's a watch that always reminder you've been sitting for too long. And for those of us that we have the privilege of walking, walking up and walking down, and it will help you with your muscle, help you with your circulating of your blood. And for those of us that live near the sea or the seawall or mountain, that's even better. You spend 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, just to do a little bit of exercise, because that is part and parcel of looking after your health. Not only the food, most of the time we concentrate on the food. Remember, also on the style of life that you go through. Not only that, one thing that also affect our life and even our brain, our style of thinking, is the screen time, I remember one of our pastor friend from Australia, when we go together and sleep at night, he will not want any light to be on. And one day I asked him, why you don't want even the smallest, even the light from the mobile, or the light from microwave, or the light from the television, that small red light. And said all those light can affect your sleeping, and your sleeping is your resting. Most of the time, the little things that we can amend and do, not a big thing, not going to the gym and run and sweat it out. No, the little things that you can do to be part and parcel of your health. Remember, your health is very important. Most of the time, we see in our country, in Fiji, a lot of people are dying young, in their late mid-20s, late 20s, and early 30s. That's very, very, very young. And I believe it's our lifestyle and something that we need to share, something that we need to teach in our villages, set up, or even as a family, when we sit as a family, and also from churches, and also from the Ministry of Health, the awareness of the little things that we can do. It's not, you are not paying any money for that, but you can do all those little things that help you to live a healthy life. So, healthy life will make you to enjoy life. How can you enjoy life if you are sickly? That means you are not going to the place you're supposed to be. You are sickly, you are, maybe you can't walk well, you just take few steps and body pain, muscle, and sometimes you are depressed, or you are affected by the high blood pressure, and all these things. It does not give us the happiness that we're supposed to have. Remember, life is not only work. Life is not only money. Life is not only the achievement. Life, when you enjoy every part and every phase of life. So, this morning we have been talking on managing our finance, and now we are summing up on our health.
Yes, health is very important. If you haven't had any medical check for this year, write it down for next year. Don't wait until it's too late, because life is only once. You only live your life once. Sometimes you may think, oh, it's too much of a time, it's a waste of time, or it's going to take out money from my wallet. Whatever it is, it's not enough to take you out completely from knowing on how healthy you are, not only for you, for your family as well. Because if you really love them, it's a good investment on your health check. And there are facilities in the hospitals that are done without any money at all, or any cost at all, which means that all of us, you need to know your health so you can work towards it. You need to know your condition so you can live right. Because if not, you will blindly continue to live like everything is okay, but the very thing that you're lacking and the very thing that you're enjoying, they are creating more damage and harmful to your current health status. So it's good to know. Sometimes we live out of self-denial. We deny the fact that we are sick. Bali we can eat okay. Baka da sinindo via the back. Da sinindo via admit taka. Ni na tobi mate. Ni baka ni ko baka iko sambala buchuka na mobo. Kunilanga dono ombola vinaka tinga. Sinda na kaya langa via. Bali peke na tamata do sota na nonda bada. Ni leva no ngone ni ndambada tu ke da tobi mate. Ke da sinindo tukuna. Kenda na nakatiwa endonga na bul leilai se endonga na mosni ulu leilai se endonga na mosni kete se mosni ndakwe so ka enda sabaka bulivi kende kina me baka sa tikiti no ndambula o ndo mataka leilai mosni vango o ndambonge mosni ulungu baka sa baka rutu ni ndraki enda mai vingoma ni sa kwaya sa ndondo mutiko adamu na ngona le adikina na lenga ndanga kila endo na mate asati kondende andondo no me kile tomanda eroni ibabi na kataki. So most of the time we live our life in self-denial that we are not sick or we don't need help. Sometimes it's good to be told that you need help. And don't be ashamed to say that I need help. Everybody needs help. Every now and again you need help. Because no one is perfect. You are not made to be, self-proclaimed that you need anybody else. No, we need each other. You need your family around you, and you need people around you to help you. And be that person, to be part of that community, that people around you, they love you for who you are, and they're always there to also help you. And don't think that the help is not around, it is there. So, bakay ko kilay ko tabi mati sa nakay bakay sa baka meka rakiti ko big koy. Wala ka dibing mo na kita nga ya big. Kapuni ko dingo man yung kwaya normal tipo. Lako na ndon na balimbola mali check tag. Go and have checked. And especially for, I was having a good conversation with two wives for this week. And it was because I saw this article on the paper, on the Heart. So I called both of them in. And I said, look, photocopy this, read it, understand what your husbands go through. And understand what they're standing on. And understand this sickness. You need to understand the sickness for you to be able to help them to realize how serious it is. And also to talk together. Because if anything happened, the responsibility and the accountability to the family. And if anything happened, how it affects the family. So maybe we don't want to talk about that, but it's good to talk about it. Because when you do understand, then it no longer becomes an issue. It's like, okay, you're not supposed to be having salt. There are some strict diet given by the doctor. Or you're not supposed to be having oily food. And then it creates that kind of thing. Oh, you know, who are you? You're not the doctor. Give it to me. I want to eat it. So those kind of conversation, it happens. But if you have a good sit down and you have a discussion, look, your health, like it's your own, and I know you want to mind your own business, you're trying to tell me it's none of my business, it's yours, but this is what the doctor says, which means I'm speaking to you, this is the one who is not sick. I'm speaking to you on the basis for our family. If anything ever happens to you, this is what you're going to leave behind. You're going to leave me behind and leave these children behind. This bills behind. This is the reality of what it is. So we will need to talk about that for you to realize whatever decision that you will make, which I will not have a say in it, because it's your health, it's your life. Whatever decision that you're going to make, I will want you to consider what I am trying to tell you, that you will leave me behind if anything happens, your children, and all these bills, and where we will go if we don't have a house. So, because when you have this kind of serious conversation, then you will take ownership of your health and your life. You will not live in self-denial, continue to say, I am good, I am good. Everybody wants to say that we are good. When you know it's the slightest, and you know, you can handle. Yeah, indirectly speaking, you're trying to say, Kunyelanga tata, don't worry about it, I am good. I can, live with this. Or auro ni vosotatiko, auro ni kamango. Yo yikorawa. But keba kaindo na kanaya do biko, na dolo kena kakingo ikombitelis mai. Na dava na kenan rendre mo kila na dava ilenga biko. Monroda ka mata pili, iwan na mundo mata pawale. Mondo vito konitaka, membalawo ng bula, maybe naka ng bula. And this is one thing that I was actually sharing with these two ladies, and I was telling them, if it means, if the diet says no salt, and if the diet says no oily food, make that a rule in your house. Which means no salt and no oily food. And think of all the boiled food and all its delicacy that's going to make it more attractive for your children to eat. Because I know, I grew up in a home, when I was in year 9, I grew up in a home, a diabetic home. My mom is diabetic. And our menu, our meals, and everything was centered around my mother. Which means we don't eat starch, we grow cassava. We plant cassava. We have cassava and dalo plantation, but we sell them. And we eat uto, we eat kumala, we eat vundi. So even though we are accessible, but we are guided by what happened to my mother, because everything that is on the table, it has to be what my mother eats, and everybody has to eat what my mother eats. And I'm glad, because through their teaching, I brought that to my family and not to my grandchildren. We don't just cook dalo at home or cassava at home to eat. No, Joshua will come and say, Nana, I need to put on a few more, weight. I need a few more kgs. And I need more starch. So I will turn to my daughter-in-law, because she does our dinner cooking. I will tell her, okay, can you cook cassava or cook dalo for him? And that's how all other things that come on board now, because there's a reason for it. But other than that, our life is defined by the way that I was brought up. And this is exactly, I'm sharing to these two ladies, and I'm sharing with you, women that are going through the same. Or even men, if your wife is someone that is sick. Try and be supportive in the sense that you change your household to accommodate them, to facilitate them. So they don't become the odd one out. They become, they fit in. You will face that challenge, because some things you eat, you don't want it. But do it for the sake of their life, and do it for the sake of them living a little bit longer. Gasele used to share about his health, on how he got checked and cleared. We had those moments. And I know when I was talking to these two ladies, and I was telling them, I know what it's like, because it happened in my life. It happened in our family. I banned salt from our table. Until today, we don't have salt standing on our table. Whoever wants to use salt, you have to walk it to the cupboard, get the salt, use it, put back the salt. That's a rule. And it helps our family. And we have, boiled food. We go for white meat, so they eat chicken, and I eat my fish, and he loves his fish. So no red meat altogether. Not until he was cleared and everything, back to normal. Then we start buying red meat again. We buy brisket. And salt is still minus the equation, only as and when, but we push each other towards the sauces. So he has his favorite sauce and chilies and all other things, but minus the salt. And those are the little things that we can do.
Red meat is
it's not as much.
Yeah. Even though we love red meat, but we conscious about the doctors.
I believe because after you've gone through it, and then it's cleared, like you were healed of that, when you come back, you're not the same person you were. Like you live every day conscious that this thing will lead to that. So you take only a little bit of it, or sometimes you think yourself, I can go without it. You know, like the kind of thinking.
And as you said, when you remove all those things, or you tailor-made the meals on the table to the one that is odd. So everybody, instead of enjoying what they're enjoying, we are also going to a healthy way. So we are not only put everyone to be on the same table, eating the same food, healthy food. We are also educating all those in the household to eat boiled food, which is the healthy food. And before we don't have this boiling Monday and Tuesday. We just eat whatever, because the food is whatever tastes good in our mouth. It's not so good with our health. And those things we were not taught. Nobody teach us those things. We just go by what we see and what we taste,
but it's
not of the health.
Growing up with your parents, it's amazing on how they just cook food at home. It's either boil or lolo. You know, they hardly do. I think the common food that we have now in the cities, in the urban areas, is always curry. You know, very soon, our intestine and everything will turn yellow. It's always curry. And everybody just make curry. I think it's the easiest. And then, I mean, when you come to think about it, it goes back to finances as well. It's the only food that is easy. We have, like in the church that we're in, that we get rostered for feeding our mission people, our mission team. And nearly every time when you open the pre-pack, it's always curry, always curry. And I believe it's easy to throw the potato in and throw it with anything, and then it's less expense. And sometimes the way that you're eating and the way that you're living your life, if you don't have a choice to be healthy, because it's the only affordable meals that you can make. Well, if money becomes an issue, then you can think of other cheaper way. It can be the mbele bakar kara with tuna. One of my daughters, I don't know how she likes it, but boy, even when I see her eating it, I said, okay. She loves handuruka. And she lives in Germany. She loves handuruka. Then for me, duruka, I can only eat it if it's lolo with fish, fried fish, lolo. I love my duruka that way. Or I taste it from my Indian friend that makes duruka curry with roti. But my daughter, this one here, she boils duruka, drinks the water of the duruka, and eat duruka like that. And I'll be watching, okay, you know, are you really eating that? I said, no, it's really nice. It's really lovely. I said, no, I don't really like that. So there are ways and means on how to live healthy, and even dal. Dal is just good enough. It becomes your protein. Not only that, it's healthy, and it's easy, and it's affordable, and it's cheap. And that is why for most of us, they do dal, we throw everything inside. The bayangani, the carrot, the noodles. So when it's done, it becomes a dal curry. And I mean, it has its value. So try and live healthy, projecting for 2024, and be careful for 2023 end. Because this is the time to eat anything and everything that you ever want to eat. First of all, try and lessen your olive food and cut out your raw salt. That's on the health side.
Yeah, one thing too, we have the change of the meals that we have, the Asian style, not only Indian curry, but we have the Chinese now,
Chop suey.
With our parents and with the people that are brought up in the village. Normally we eat our normal food, cassava, tavu, and utot tavu, the wundi, sanga, and all those greens, you know, with a little bit of fish here and there. I believe that's why they live long life. And I mean, in the village, if somebody is 70, 71, 72, he still go to the plantation, still carry, you know, siya dolong ako ya. And ang unya, mengkain dua sa bitsong bulu kan dua. Kaya makain dua sa bulu kan sa bulu. Yung sa carry to ako makasagay biya
Malum
But I believe it's all the lifestyle, especially the food. The lifestyle that we have today, we must be very careful. And doon nakaya do tukuna bali mo na buni wai biyo manda. And back in about 10 years ago, doon nakatukuna biyo na processed food. Processed food ko na kaya tini o usiwi na noodles na noodles hindi sala ko may ni kuha sala utal tu na kena mga fancy sala ko sa tama na kena camp nindala ko na wanga na inta island ko lang tungo na noodles sa favorite sa tunga sala ko lang gobierno ko na sarakan niya mamada yan na all processed food kaya mbali and
kaya na processed food, it comes with a high level of salt to preserve. So when it says processed food, like na salt condition to preserve that food to be what it is, and on the amount of salt that is being placed in to maintain and retain that whatever it is. It can be sausage, pre-cooked sausage, it can be tin meat, tin tuna, anything that is being processed to be maintained and used as it is. Salt is part of that equation, and then you say about the noodles because of the flavor. And
the flavor is a lot of salt.
A lot of salt.
And
then you say, they're even eating it raw. So my youngest granddaughter, she's only 3 years old. She loves the noodles, and she loves it with a little bit of soup. But sometimes she'll stand there. I want noodles like no water. I want noodles dry, which means we have to open the pack of Raijeli, open the flavor, put a little bit in it, and she's eating it dry. It's not healthy. And even myself, I'm eating it. Like, I like that taste. Salt is very a challenge. I don't think salt is a challenge that makes the processed food what it is.
And also, it's not healthy, because it's been stored for quite some time, and for months or years. And that's why eating back into